The quote, "Travel light, live light, spread the light, be the light," by Yogi Bhajan has inspired our family to go on the path of decluttering, minimizing, and simplifying our overall lifestyle in LA. Our year-long process of relocating from the city to the canyon has accelerated the process. I have always felt that the part of letting things go is filtering what's important to me and enjoying the experience of treasuring what truly matters and what stayed with us. Since we have settled in our home in the canyon this past year, I don't think about the concept of living with less on a day-to-day basis anymore. It's just how we live now, and with so few closets and storage spaces in the house, we simply don't buy more things unless we have a true reason, because there are just no places for them in the house. These past few weeks we have been on the road again with all four of our family, including kids, carrying their own carry-on backpacks, and I had a moment to reflect on the sense of traveling light again. It wasn't long ago when we packed multiple suitcases to travel with little kids. When our girls were little, there were needs for bringing diapers and their favorite blankies and etc., etc. It was just so hard for us to pack light or go without checking in the suitcase without when we flew. Frido and I laugh at some of our old stories of us carrying a baby in front with a baby carrier and then a backpack on our back, and then pulling a large and heavy suitcase on an uphill street in Tokyo as snow fell on us and it was dark in the evening. And it feels funny now, but it wasn't funny at all at the time, and I think we both wanted to cry. I also used to have a kind of a pre-travel blues where I stopped feeling excited about the departure of getting out of the house to travel, because the idea of packing was so dreadful. But instead of dealing with the feelings, I just procrastinated the packing and felt upset with myself for being so late and last minute in getting ready. And I'm pretty sure I had some grown-up tantrums around my family too. Once again, it kind of sounds funny to me now because I so don't see myself going through that anymore when we leave the house, when we travel. But it was absolutely not funny at all when we went through the experience. Truly, my belongings and the things I packed in my suitcase weighed more than it brought joy to me. Since kids were able to carry their own travel essentials in their own backpacks, we decided to travel just with carry-ons and just have never looked back. There are a few practical ideas I can share with you, like choosing thin and lightweight merino wool clothing over cotton clothes. They breathe nicely, feel warm in touch, and smell more pleasant than synthetic or cotton materials when moisture is absorbed. The best part of it is if we wash merino wool clothes while traveling, it's easy to wash by hands and they just dry quickly. So we reduce the need to pack more clothes. We bring outfits that can be layered to adjust and adapt to unpredictable weather and temperature. We're probably not the most fashion-forward travelers, but we know we are comfortable getting around, whether we're going through the crowded airport or trekking on a path to reach our next Airbnb while navigating public transportation. I also realized that it's very human to fill the containers that we're given. So if we have tons of storage space in the house, we'll likely get more things to fill the space just because. It's an observation we made after moving out of our previous house in the city. We had more storage spaces in the house back then, like regular closet in each bedroom and bookshelf and a real garage. When we were in the process of emptying the house to move out, I just couldn't believe how many things we had stored in those spaces that never saw the light. It's the same for traveling bags. I came to believe that the larger my bag is, the more I end up stuffing. And if I stick with smaller and more restricted bag sizes, I manage to make it work with what actually fits in the bag. I even learned to let go of the idea of having multiple notebooks, pen cases, and extra analog tools I used to love traveling with, like my pocket Instax printer. It's nice to have them and able to print cute pictures while on the road, but at the end of the day, I wasn't using them enough to justify the weight and space it took to have them while traveling. So on this 3-week-long trip, I am carrying just one traveler's notebook with GU monthly and GU weekly, one Lamy fountain pen, and extra ballpoint pen. Surprisingly, or maybe not surprisingly, I haven't missed any of the analog artifacts that are waiting for me at home. Reflecting back, I come to the idea that our minimum amount of personal items while on the road reminds me of the time when I was a college student. Life was just enough personal things to fill the trunk of a small sedan car whenever I needed to move from one apartment to another as needed. It didn't matter back then about how many things I owned or how many things belonged to me. Gratefully, I had enough to get by, and I was mentally and emotionally and physically fully occupied with learning and growing. Then came the time for a professional career, growing as a family, and having the responsibility of a mortgage. We ended up just with more stuff. It made me wonder if living and traveling light helps me ease into a student mindset, because I am not anchored down by many things to tend to. When traveling light, I wonder if my bandwidth shifts naturally to learning more about the world, rather than focusing on hauling and taking care of more things. Also, I find myself writing a lot in my one notebook that I always have next to me, whether I am working with VK in a small corner of our house, a tiny house that we're renting, or enjoying the sunshine over a cup of coffee at a neighborhood cafe. Pages are getting filled with thoughts, ideas, insights, and more, and I enjoy witnessing the process. So this story is not really about how to travel light, because I think there are plenty of resources out there that I think helps people to pack light and choose what to pack. But this is more about my thoughts and approaches to living and traveling light. Maybe by the time this story sees the light of its own, I'll be back in our canyon home in California. And when I get there and look back to this story, the sensation I want my future self to experience is how full my heart feels right now being with Frido's family, how green those trees are outside of the window, how grateful I feel to watch our girls connect to their family stories. And I know that those feelings, those sensations are more than any stuff I chose or didn't choose to bring to this trip can give me. So cheers to traveling light, living light, and also being the light.